Hi everyone, Mimmi again from C-Mimmi-O, and welcome to the channel. And this time I have something really exciting to tell you because I have just deployed my first Vibecoded tool for our customer use. And it's been in use for some time now, and it's running smoothly, and that of course makes me happy. There hasn't been any security issues, so I think it's time to talk to you about how I Vibecoded a reservation system for a historic Finnish manor. And then I decided to turn that tailored reservation tool into a Saas product. There is a really great historic manor estate here in Southwest Finland. They have a restaurant, they have rooms for reserved, they offer museum tours with 3 different museums, and they have event spaces to give to both consumers and companies alike. All these are happening simultaneous, that people are booking them, just one of them or a couple of them, and they're mixing and matching. And what they were trying to cope with was pen and paper. So they had notebooks, loose sheets of paper that were stuffed in some folders that were getting lost. There were personal calendars. There were individual inboxes, but there was simply no shared system or a database where if any team member was off sick, the bookings were effectively invisible to everyone else. So that was kind of the starting point. And even though I'm a fractional CMO, I'm also an engineer, not just by heart but also by training, and I love vibe coding, so I decided that this is something that we can definitely solve. And I said that, okay, I'll solve this chaos. I'll create something. So we're talking about Wiurila. It's a very real place. It's a 19th century manor estate in Halikko, around 7 kilometers from Salo, roughly 30 minutes from Turku, and an hour away from Helsinki. They have a restaurant called Ravintola Wiurilan Sigrid, and they have overnight accommodation in Wiurila Guest House, which is like this kind of a B&B style or guest house type accommodation with 4 rooms. And you can also book the whole guest house, where you also then have a common area. They have these guided museum tours, and as well as self walking tours during summertime. But and then they have this really beautiful bigger ballroom type of event space, and then smaller cabinets. And the area is generally just really beautiful. The surroundings and milieu it's really idyllic, to say. And but the operations keeping it all together seemed broken to me, and I think that the fact that they were writing manually all the bookings somewhere by someone, cross-referencing availability, was calling people and checking notebooks and hoping that every piece of paper you needed hadn't gone home in someone's bag, or someone hadn't forgotten to mention to another person, and there were double bookings as a real risk. And staffing was really planned on this guesswork, because nobody had a really clear vision or view of what was coming. Wiurila is really not a small operation, even though it's considered a small business in Finland scale. It's still multifunction hospitality venue, and they needed in my opinion, a proper system. And I thought that the tools that were in the market were either too simple or too expensive, or they were built for this single function business that looked nothing like Wiurila is. So I wanted to build something that would serve all of it in one place, and making sure that you can also do these cross bookings. So the reservation platform that I built for Wiurila is actually a browser-based system, and it handles all of their 4 functions from just one place. And it's not just for a staff making entries, but there's also for guests and visitors a clean public booking site. So not only can staff add bookings there in the back end, but also on the public side, any customer who wants to visit and book something can do it from the public booking pages. There are these 4 service tiles that you can choose from, and they're all available in Finnish, English and Swedish, and so is the backend as well. The restaurant bookings come in structured, and there's also capacity checking in there. The guest room shows live availability and pricing. Museum tours handle if there are group bookings. And for events, the flow is a bit different, because guests can describe what they need, and then the team responds. And when the details are agreed, the staff will send a formal offer directly from the system. And once the customer confirms that this is what we agreed and I'm okay with this, they send information back to Wiurila. 1 click, and that click converts the offer directly into a new reservation. So you don't have to do any re-entry of the data. There are no drop details, because everything that you agreed with the customer will automatically then be added to the reservation from the original offer. And I think that the cross-reservation part is particularly important, because that's a feature that was really needed. I'm really proud of it, because there's a lot of this going on. Because if you book a restaurant table, some people want to include a museum tour. If, for example, you have a group on a bus and they need to stop for lunch, and then they decide that while also having lunch, there's a nice museums, they can also tour the museums. A guest house stay can include a dinner reservation. An event can bundle in catering, accommodation, and the museum tours, all in one linked reservation. The backend still keeps each of those reservations separate, so Wiurila can actually track each function individually. So even though the customer gets to see and book just one reservation in the backend, the staff will see them in their own functions, and we can still keep track of what has been booked from different functions, but also they have visibility that they are linked. So you also have the data that these are linked in one case. So the guest experience stays seamless, but also the data stays clean. I think the results have been pretty much what we've been expecting. It's time back, accurate shared information, real staff visibility, and a really professional customer experience in 3 languages. And I think this is something that's interesting. While I was building the reservation platform, also another need surfaced. Wiurila had sales data, but they had no way to read it properly. It was just some CSV files, and they didn't have information on which days they actually performed the best, what hours drove like the best or most revenue during the day, when should the staffing be heaviest. They had kind of none of this information on how to balance staffing. So once I had built the reservation platform, I also then built a second tool, which is a sales velocity index. It's a sales analytics dashboard where Wiurila adds their sales data, and they can then get a view of the performance across the anytime window. They can see peak hours, top sales days, monthly profitability trends, gross profit estimates, cost breakdown split between personnel and serving costs. And that's a very light system, so what you feed in is what it interprets. So it's not really a bookkeeping solution. It's more for balancing and forecasting on what could be the best way to do staffing, and combining that with the information coming from the reservation tool. I think they have a good combo now. What I really wanted to make sure for Wiurila is that they don't get just generic reporting, but it's operational intelligence built specifically for hospitality and for their business. And then it hit me. This isn't a unique problem to Wiurila. I think this is a more generic, wider issue. I think across all hospitality sectors, across Finnish, Nordic, European hospitality sector, I think small and medium venues are managing more than one bookable function, and they are facing exactly the same issue. Tools that are either too simple or too expensive, or built for a completely different kind of business. And that is really the reason why I took everything that I built for Wiurila, the cross-reservations, the multilingual booking pages, the offer-to-reservation flow, the automated reminders, backend management, and I decided to package that into a Saas product for the wider market. I called the product MimmoBook, which of course everyone can understand that it kind of comes from my name, Mimmi, and booking. So, and you can find it at MimmoBook.com. It is specifically built for hospitality operators who are not huge enterprises and cannot afford heavy, expensive solutions, but who have operations that are just as complex. I think I have linked a full case study in the description. And if you run a venue that's still working from notebooks and personal calendars, I think we should talk. And again, I'm Mimmi, and to me, this is what strategy that ships actually looks like. That's all from me now. Bye.